Hello and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own money expert, Money Whisperer, Judy Copenbarger. How are you this morning?
Oh, I thought we were going to do an ASMR show.
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm going to drop coins
Oh,
next time.
absolutely. We'll have to get the headphones. Yeah, I am
Uh,
really excited about being a money whisperer. And I don't whisper all the time. I think when you get a handle on how to um manage your money, like round it up and kind of, control it. And it's so powerful. So we're going to talk today about something about that. I can't wait.
and folks, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.com. All of our social media links are there. We'll talk about our website a little bit later on and some of the resources that are available to you guys. As we're winding down the year, and we're going to have several episodes, kind of wrapping up the year. But today, I know you have an extremely important topic. You want to share that with us?
I do. I'm so excited about this one. This is the one I probably get the most questions about, and it is investing. What investment should I buy? And they're coming at me with emails. I saw this ad. My neighbors were doing this thing, this widget. Um, Investments is probably the biggest way to mess up your financial life by screwing this up, and it's the best way to advantage yourself and reach your goals, do all the right stuff. So investments is huge. So really, I've boiled it down. There are 7 ways you can really mess up your investments. And if you've ever had an implosion, if you've ever had to reboot, you lost money, you had to rebuild, and you had wealth that just poofed on you. That's a legal term, poof. You know what it means, though, right? It was there, and then where'd it go?
Yeah.
Where'd it go? And for some people, it's cash flow. For most people, it's bad investments. It's because they made a mistake in one of 7 areas, or maybe a combination of the 7 areas. And if you just don't do that, you're going to be fine. So I got 7 things to share with you. Are you ready?
I am so glad you're actually bringing this up because you're right. When it comes, we've talked about over the months and weeks, we've talked about different things. Investments always seem to be that scary topic because if you don't know, you don't know. Everybody
Yeah.
has this is the one you got to put everything in, or this one is it, or this one's that, and then, like you said, one moment it's here, and next thing it's like, oh geez, now I just lost all this money. Now what do I do? But so it's a perfect timing, especially as we're wrapping up the year, that you're going to share this. So yeah, I'm ready. Our audience is ready. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Okay. Number 1, people forget to balance. And balance means you need to have your money. We're not talking about diversification. That's number 2. But balance just means that you have some cash available. You have some liquidity available. You have some investments that are short term, some that are long term, and you're balancing that over time. That's all it is. And if you don't do that, you can run into a problem where you have an investment in cash, it's not earning enough, or you have an investment in something that has 0 liquidity, and now you can't get your hands on it when you need it. It's that simple. So you just want to balance your investments. You want to have some interest related instruments. That's going to be your bonds, commercial paper, notes, things like that. And you want to have some equities. That's your real estate. That's your stocks, the stocks that are on the markets there. And you just want to have a little of each in the right shape of a pie. That's it. Pretty simple. So don't forget to balance. Number 2, diversify. This is one of the best ways to reduce and manage risk by diversifying. That's not having all your eggs in one basket, right? And we all know to do that, but it's
Mhm.
so easy when you have this one stock that's shooting up, the one that's getting all the attention in the media, the one that's the ground floor opportunity. It's so easy to put it all there. Or 2007, 2008 flashback, everybody's buying real estate because it's free, right? You don't even have to qualify for a loan. You just say you want the money. And so people get kind of on the bandwagon and they forget to diversify. It's not that all these investments are bad. You just want to have them in appropriate portions and spread the risk that way. So if something blows up, you're not going to feel it all the way across the board. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, you ready for number 3?
I am.
Time horizon. When you're investing, you've got to consider, when am I going to need this money again? And what's it for? Is it long term for legacy? I plan on dying with it, so my family can do something or my charities can enjoy that. Is it something I want for long term income or just in case my health changes or in case I need to join the emergency cruise of the month club down the road, in case I want to join the country club and start golfing? So it's making sure that your time horizon is appropriate for the investment that you're choosing. You don't want something that locks up your money for a long time if you want to save up for a house and buy one in a couple of years. That would be a bad investment. So you want to make sure you have an appropriate time horizon in mind. Number 4, paying too much for the investment. You always want to be aware of what the costs are, what the fees are, what the taxation model might be for you, the type of investment that way. But you want to make sure you always know what you're getting and what you're paying for that service. And it pays to shop. It pays to go wholesale. It pays to work with a planner that knows, how to avoid as much cost as you can. But some people make good investments. They just pay 4, 5, 6% a year for them. Why would you do that? If you might yield 8 or 10 or 12 and you're paying 4, 5, or 6, it's like you're sharing the wealth with whoever sold it to you. So you always want to be aware of all the layers of fees inside of your investment. Let's see, number 5, dollar cost averaging, DCA. Dollar cost averaging is a concept that helps us spread risk and increase the return on our investments by spreading out how we invest over time. So instead of putting $100 for an investment in 1 month, you might put 30 in, next month another 30, next month another 30. People do this really well inside of their employer retirement programs where you have to put it through payroll. So every time you get a paycheck, a little bit goes in. Every time you get a paycheck, a little goes in. And what's happening under the waterline, what you can't really see, is you're buying shares, you're buying stock, usually mutual funds, but you're buying shares of something, some equity. And when the price is high, you're buying fewer shares at a higher price. And when the price is lower, you're getting more shares at a lower price. And so the average cost that you have paid for the shares that you own is usually lower. That's dollar cost averaging. It's just buying the same amount of dollars worth over a periodic schedule. So every paycheck, every month, every quarter, you're just doing something regular, not looking at what's the market today. It's on sale. I'm going to buy some, but just regular investments over time. That's dollar cost averaging. Almost always it will help you win.
So Judy, let me ask you this also. Let me go back to number 4. So
Yeah.
when we're talking about, and I know this question has come up with folks, and we've talked about this also in the show, but when you're trying to reach out to somebody for help on that professional, what are some things that we should be asking a planner? What are some things that we should be asking, I guess, an investor for that matter? Because not, like everything else in life, not everything is created equal, right? So I think that's come up before, and I think it's a perfect time to remind folks what are the things that they need to look for and be aware of, and the right questions to ask.
Yeah, like how do you find the right person to help you,
Right.
right? Pick an
Right.
investment. Now that you've avoided these 7 mistakes, how do you find someone to help you shop for them or have the credentials to be able to access them for you? Well, that's a little tricky because on every corner you've got investment advisors, you've got consultants, you've got, all kinds of people in the financial industry ready to help you and sell you something, right? Most financial professionals are the sales arm of the profession. They are in development and they are compensated by what you invest in, either a commission or an advisory, like a percentage of what you invest. They get a percentage of that every year and charge you that way. Most people work that way in the financial industry. But if you can find a fee only planner, that might help. But when it comes to who knows how to access the good stuff, I would avoid, for the most part, insurance companies, bankers. You know, I hate to say that because we do need bankers, but I think it's a good place to save and borrow, not a good place to invest for most people because of the fee structure, just the nature of the thing. So I would say if you go with an investment fiduciary or an investment advisor that is a fiduciary, that would work. There's this AIR designation. It's an accredited investment. Um, what is it? IAR. It's a accredited investment advisor. What are those initials?
AIA, right?
Yeah, it's a good one to have. So that's someone who's a fiduciary. There are also people that actually are fiduciary. If you look for that word, and sometimes it's got a trademark next to it, but a fiduciary is someone that by law has to offer you not just one thing, but several things. So it's not like the product that I sell for the company I work for. Here's what the offer is. It's the best for you because that's all I can sell, right? But if you go to someone who's a fiduciary, by law, they have to prove that they've given you sound advice for the purpose that you have for the investment. So that's a good way to go. It's an accredited fiduciary. Another way to go is maybe with a planner rather than a sales agent or a sales representative. And a planner, there are several designations for that. The most common, probably the most revered, and the one that actually takes the most brains to get is the CFP. That's a certified financial planner. So a certified financial planner had to go to college. Most people in the financial industry haven't. Most people that you'll be talking to about your products, that are on the sales side haven't. And college doesn't make you smarter. It just means that you had to do some due diligence to get to where you are. Once you finish an undergraduate degree, then there's a pretty intensive program and exams you have to take and all of that to be qualified as a certified financial planner. And they are learned in the areas of taxation, law, economics, insurances, investment, all the things that can help you avoid mistakes or problems, tax problems especially, in the areas of investments. So maybe you have a fiduciary, maybe you have a banker that can help you choose investments, but they also have a CFP designation. That would be a great way to go because at least they can look around the corner of some investment problems that might arise and help you avoid those. So hopefully that's helpful.
No, that is totally helpful. I think it's also as we continue to talk about this, folks become more aware because you're right. There's almost one at every corner. You don't really think about it. If you walk into your bank, most of the time they'll try to hit you up on financial planning and things like that. It's like, no, I'm good, right? But and it's also very important to know that I've seen, because I've also been in some cases they've tried to recruit me to do financial planning. I'm like, you realize my background is nowhere near financial planning, but it's that same thing where it's just trying to get bodies in an institution, and for whatever reason it's just not. It's very it's very scary because that's how people kind of turn away from financial planners, because you have one or two bad experiences, and you assume everybody's like that as well too. So it's critical, and I'm glad you're sharing that, of things that people need to really look for. um,
Yeah. And if you have a family member that's done really well, find out who they're working with. If you have a colleague at work that has a really good experience with their advisor or their planner, find out who they're working with. I think networking is a good way. It's an old word, right? But it's a good way to find out rather than going to the yellow pages or answering an email that comes in from all the mass marketing. And I'll tell you, when you look at like SEO, people that have online businesses and they pay for ads and things like that, it's like 100x for financial ads as opposed to any other business. It's crazy how much money they spend advertising, trying to get at you as a consumer, but they do it. And you know why they do it? Because the money's there.
right.
Well, if the money's there for all of this advertising, where's my investment going? Like, how much of my investment is going to have a return for me, and how
Right.
much is going to pay these people and their ads? I mean, you
No,
just have to common sense think about it. So,
you're absolutely right. And folks,
yeah.
if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. Welcome. If you're not following Judy, follow her at judycopenbarger.com. We're going to talk about her website a little bit later on. But we are talking about the big 7 mistakes to avoid in investing. And we've gone through 5 of them. And I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure that Judy also spoke about some of the things that you need to be aware of when you're talking about someone regarding investments. So let's move on to number 6.
Number six is your risk tolerance. How much can you afford to put at risk? So it really depends. What's the money going to be used for? Do you have enough? If you have $500,000 and that's got to last you all through retirement these days, boy, you might not want to take as much risk as somebody who's 30 and making $250,000 in Silicon Valley, right? They can afford more risk than you can where you are in life and how much money you have for the purpose. And sometimes it's a personal thing too. Like some people, their risk tolerance is low just naturally. It's like, I work so hard for my nickels, I don't want to risk them. And it's just kind of part of being, kind of conservative fiscally that way. Other people are like, I don't care. I'll just go get some more. I can make money. I'll go get more. And money really doesn't mean a lot to me. I can go ahead and take more risk. But it's really important to assess your risk tolerance. And if you're married as a couple, before you take any investments, to make sure it's appropriate for you and you're not doing something you shouldn't because the risk is too high. We're seeing that in the news right now, right? We've got stuff falling apart out there by the billions because the risk was too high for people that couldn't afford to take it. And they didn't have someone say, whoa, caution, yellow light, let's stop and look at the risk. Let's assess that. Is it really appropriate for you or not? And sometimes it's not just black or white. Sometimes it's not like yes or no. Sometimes it's like, well, maybe for a portion. So if you have $1 million, maybe 100,000 can take a little more risk than another chunk of it, right? And so you have different purposes for the money, different risk tolerance, perhaps, for the different investments that you choose. But that needs to be a factor. It's one place that people really mess up, too much risk.
It's also kind of like what you said before in previous shows too. It's that mentality is also with folks that because they don't know, it's money in the mattress or under the mattress as well too, right? Because
Mhm.
you work very hard. It's almost like we've heard of folks too, those that gamble in Vegas, right? You work very hard, and it's like if you don't have and it's obviously apples and oranges, Vegas and investment, but it's the concept of where bottom line is people work very hard for their money and they want to make sure that at the end of the day somebody is really there to protect them and protect their best interest, and you're right. And this is a question I'm going to ask you after we're done with number 7, but I will come back to that, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. You ready for number 7?
I am.
Never hurry. Never hurry. There is no financial decision that you ever need to make right now. And when there is urgency from a salesperson, when there's urgency from this ground floor opportunity is going to blow up, when there's any kind of, you better hurry, you better do it now, the time is ticking, you never want to make a decision under that kind of pressure. That it's going to hurt you. I mean, I have not seen anybody make a decision under pressure, time constraints, that was a good one. But I've seen a whole lot where it's the opposite. So you never want to hurry with any kind of financial decision, whether it's an estate planning decision, whether it's applying for insurance decision, whether it's investing in your 401k or some widget that's out there that somebody wants you to VC with. That's venture capital, like invest in a company that's like starting a new branch or a new product. You don't have to hurry. You're going to get a lot of urgency from very skilled salespeople there. But if you're feeling that kind of pull, like you got to email me back, you got to do it. Somebody else is going to do it. If you don't do it, we're going to close the window. If you're getting that kind of sense, you probably better just take a breath and not answer the email. And that's the best motherly advice I can give you. Best professional advice I can give you is if there's pressure, wait, stop, pray, think, listen,
Right.
don't rush out in the street and get hit by a truck, just wait. And usually if it's a good opportunity now, it'll be a great opportunity soon. I've rarely seen that not be true. If it's a good deal now, it's a great deal later. And you haven't missed an opportunity, and your whole life's not going to be over if you don't do it today. So let time be your friend and never rush into a financial investment.
I think that also a part of that is also to be able to control your emotions. Because like you said, salespeople will play on that. That urgency it's I've gone through it. And I can tell you several examples where it's like, you got to get in there now because this is going to blow up. And it's like, yeah, but that's quite a bit of chunk of money you want me to part with, on something that I really, it's really a gamble, 50-50, where it's really going to hit it or not. I think a
Yep.
perfect example is some of these companies that go public as well too. You follow them, all of a sudden they decide to go public, and you want to get in there, like you're saying, on that ground floor, but then what? A couple of months later, everything just fizzles out because whatever reason.
And that's why I have a list of 7, because we are emotional people. We have an emotional market, for heaven's sakes. You see the market going up, down, all those numbers scrolling by every night on the news, all that movement, that's emotional. It's rarely objective. It's people, wanting to do this or sell that or time it or whatever. And because we are emotional beings, if you whip out this list of 7, now that you've got it, and you just go through, have I checked that? Have I checked balance? Have I checked that whether I'm dollar cost averaging? Have I checked my risk tolerance? Is this appropriate for my diversification? Am I acting on a whim, right? If you go through those 7 things and you get a thumbs up on all 7, it's a great thing. And if any 1 or 2 or several trigger, it's like, okay, I'm being emotional right now. I need to calm down and be a little bit more objective so I don't make a mistake. And this list will help you.
No, it absolutely does. And speaking of helping, folks, I want to take a moment also to talk about judycopenbarger.com and the available resources. So, Judy, share with the folks some of this help that they can get on your website.
Of course, things like this, how to invest, how to not screw up when you're investing, how to create goals, how to balance. So, we went through this list of 7, but when you talk about balance, Judy, how do I know how much I should have in my pie? How many stocks, how many bonds? How do I know? It goes through all of that. So judycopenbarger.com has not only some videos, there's links to a lot of YouTube videos, there's articles that'll help you, but it's got a little magic button there that will take you to the Money, Truth, and Life online mastery program. And that program covers all 5 pillars of personal finance, small ministry, and business finance. What do I need to do? Should I incorporate or not? Should I have a will or should I have a trust? If I get a trust, what kind? Revocable, irrevocable? What's the difference? What do I need? Right? All of that. Should I buy a house? Should I sell the house I'm in or should I lease it out for a while? All of those things. How does interest work? What's Bitcoin? All of that stuff. It's all in there at judycopenbarger.com. If you go to the Money, Truth, and Life online mastery program, 5 courses in every pillar of finance covering insurance, estate planning, investments, taxation, cash flows. How do you manage that? All of those things are in there. And there's classes in every course. You can take as many classes as you want, or all of them, or one of them. But that's all right there for you. judycopenbarger.com is the easiest way to access that.
Excellent. And folks, again, if you're not following Judy, do so. Visit her website, her social media links are there as well too. Okay, Judy. So I'm going to go back and ask you a question again. When we talk about these 7 mistakes, and you think back, what are some folks that have come to you, or think of one example of a person that came up to you about that for sure thing? Hey, Judy, I got to get on this thing. I need to jump on this right away and all of that. And share with our audience like what that process looked like and what the outcome was.
What comes to mind right as you ask that question is some clients that I had, very successful, both in pharmaceutical, high up in pharmaceutical research, very lucrative companies, up and coming, very competitive industry. They were getting the stock options and the ESOP and all of that. The company's growing and we're getting, all this money and we can buy it for a discount as an employee and the whole thing. And so I was like, whoa, let's not put all of your extra money. And it was a lot of dollars. They make pretty good money there. So let's not put it all in this, not only one sector, but one stock, because I know you're inside and you see it growing and going good, but things can change. So let's just do a portion there. Let's balance, let's diversify. Let's also invest in these other ways because things can change. You don't understand. I'm in the company. I see how well it's going. It's just so great and it's going to be great forever and ever. Amen. Well, a year later, well, maybe it was closer to 2 years later, that company is gone overnight, gone.
Wow.
Gone. Company bought him out, killed him, and gone. So now no job and no stock value. It went to nothing. And so all of that really great, let's put all the money in, all the hype went down to nothing. So thank goodness that was a small portion of what this couple was investing, and they were able to do the discipline of diversification and balance and all these other things, right? It really wasn't a dollar cost average issue. It really wasn't a timing issue. It really wasn't a horizon issue at the time. It was, I want to get in on this good deal. I see it growing. It's going up by the day. Well, that's true, but it might not always. What goes up comes down, right? So you just got to manage that. So that's one that came to mind. Another client that I have, they came in and um, they had real estate and then all cash, all cash, all cash. And so it took them probably 4 or 5 years to be able to move ahead and then start diversifying and build up their retirement program and get some tax advantages from the investments and growth from the investments. And so when we went back and looked, it happened to be that period of time where the market was doing 15, 18% every year and they were sitting out. And so once they figured out, not that they had lost out, they lost an opportunity, they should have hurried up, but they figured out that they weren't diversified because they were sitting too much in cash. There's actually a risk. I mean, there are 10 risks out there, and we always are aware of market risk because you have this much value in your stock and now it's here. That's market risk. But there's also risk in sitting too much in cash and not having something growing. And it's opportunity risk. You're missing an opportunity to have earned the money. And so that's a couple that I think about. They're baggiest. A couple that I think about that kind of finally got it going. But I would say, looking back, that was probably a mistake to have sat out that long, just
Right.
because it was new. It was new and it was a different kind of risk for them. So yeah, those are a couple of things that come to mind. For me, a mistake that I made early in life, I did it, but my husband was with me, so we did it.
Team effort, right?
Is we were in a hurry. We were in a hurry to fund our retirement accounts way back before we had kids and we had cash flow that we got to keep. And so we put too much in. We like overweighted it. We were in a hurry. We got to go get this thing going and got a little bit overzealous with that. And then we couldn't afford to do what we were doing with life. And it had changed. Our expenses had changed because we made a move to a more expensive place. And so we got behind and then we started using credit cards to make the ends meet because we thought in the next month it'll happen. In the next month it'll happen. And so we were overweighted in our retirement program, underweighted in our cash flow. And it cost us because we had to eventually take our retirement money, use it to get caught up and to get into our first house and all of that. And we made a big mistake doing that. And so there's a couple of these big 7 that we violated when we made that decision. And I didn't have this list then. Part of this is created out of my pain and what I've learned from a lot of people doing it right. So yeah, that's a mistake that I've made. So those are some things that come to mind, in light of this big 7.
I appreciate you always sharing stories, and more importantly, I think it's very valuable when you talk about your own experiences, because at the end of the day, this is what we've been saying for weeks and months and years, for that matter, is how real you are in what you do. You know what I mean? It's you've gone through a lot of heartache and pain to get to where you're at, and you've been able to develop this program, these sessions, so folks don't make those mistakes and they do things the correct way. And with that said, we've talked about the 7 mistakes to avoid for investments, and now it's that time of the show. This has got to be a big one. I can't wait for this one, for the Money Truth Challenge.
It's not going to be that big. It's going to be pretty simple, but it's going to take a little bit of noodling, right? A little bit of time thinking. So I'd like you to, with pen and paper, if you haven't already, write these down or stick them in your phone. The 7 mistakes to avoid. The first thing of the 3-part challenge is write them down, and I'll read them to you. Are you balancing? Are you diversified? Are you honoring your time horizon? Are you paying too much in fees? Are you dollar cost averaging? Are you aware of your risk tolerance? And are you acting on a whim or in a hurry? So the second thing with your pen and paper is circle 1 or 2 that are your tendencies. Like if you've made a mistake before and you're kind of spinning there, like I've been here before, I'm doing it again. Circle the 1 or 2 that you need to work on. And then maybe go to the website, go to the Money, Truth, and Life online program and study in those areas, because all of these things have their own videos and their own content. And so you can learn, well, how do I balance? How do I dollar cost average? How do I avoid fees? How do I do that? So educate yourself a little bit. First of all, awareness, right? Circling it, educate yourself a little. And the third thing is do something. Either have a conversation with your spouse, look up some information, call a fiduciary, reach out to someone that you trust and know that has maybe a planner that you could get a hold of to make a difference in your future, and do something. And I think of the 3 things that I'm giving you to do as a challenge, the most important thing is do something, right? Don't just consider this entertainment and I learned something that was kind of cool, right? I want you
Right.
to actually impact your life and make a change that will help you move forward and take your family where you want to go financially. And you can do it.
Awesome. There's your challenge, folks. So please share with us some of the outcomes. If you're struggling with some of these challenges as well, too, please send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And also, if you have any upcoming future topics for 2023, let us know. We would love to just be able to discuss it with Judy on the air as well, too. So we've come to the tail end of the show. For those of you guys just joining us, please make sure you watch the beginning of the show. Please make sure you also visit Judy at judycopenbarger.com. You'll find all of our social media links, all the great free resources that are available. And any last parting words, Judy, for today?
I do have some parting words. We're talking about investments. And this time of year with the holidays, I would like each of you to consider investing in a cause that you care about. Make a difference in the life of another person. Donate some time, some energy, or some money to a cause that you care about to help somebody else out. That's what I wish for you this week.
Awesome. Folks, remember, we're here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. and also the replay on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Until next week. Take care, Judy.
Blessings.